Hello, Gumpo fans. Totoro speaking. This is the Figurise-6 Kamen Rider Kabuto from the series Kamen Rider Kabuto, presented by Bandai. This comes from the Figurise-6 line, which is a figure model kit line based on the 6-inch scale. Here we see Kamen Rider Kabuto standing in his He Who Walks the Path of Heaven pose. And we see mass form on the back, him with his kunai, the rider kick down here, him with the Zector Miser, I guess it's called, and here's the kunai gun, and again he's in his masked form. Here on the side we see Figurise-6 Kamen Rider Kabuto, and Kamen Rider Kabuto again. This was a kit made by Bandai in 2014, and again, Bandai. If you look at the bottom of the box, we see Kamen Rider Kabuto in a really cool pose with him in the background also. The name, the series, Bandai, 2,300 yen. But unlike most other kits, when we look at the top, we see another form, or another picture, where we see the masked form and the model kit or Kamen Rider Kabuto, and all the same details except, again, without the yen figure. Looking at the sides of the box, we see Kamen Rider Kabuto, the model, at least this is the model kit, in the front view and the rear view. Here we see that you can turn him into Dark Kabuto through the use of stickers and some painting, I guess. And here you see Kamen Rider Kabuto and tells you about the story and about the series. We see that this model kit uses polystyrene and polyethylene. This is an approved by Toei product, and it is 2,300 yen, Japanese yen. Here you have a couple of the details and action shots. Kabuto here in a pose with his Kabuto kunai gun. We see it in the kunai, in the gun form, and then in the axe form, I guess you could say. We see the Kabuto Zector in the flying pose when he's flying to the owner, in the closed form, and then in mask form, I guess, and then after the cast off. Here we see Henshin, cast off. We see Kabuto with the Zect Miser. I guess that's what it's called. And you see some of the detail here. Here we see his mask form, and to my knowledge, I don't think the figure arts even has a masked form, so this is pretty awesome that it's included in the model kit. And here you see that it comes with a clear stand and a yellow lightning, kind of for his Kabuto, for his kick. Is rider kick, with an effect part. And here you see Kamen Rider 5's, the other kit that was released on the same date, I want to say, and that I have right here. So if we open up the box, I've already taken the bags off of everything, so we don't have to deal with opening any of them. Take a look at the A runner. Figurise-6 Kamen Rider Kabuto. Here we see, start with a black, and you see some details in the hands, which means that we're going to have to paint all the silver detail. But we have some closed fists, some calm open hands, gripping hands, and split in two. Here we see another fist and a pointing up to heaven pose, another part, and then an open. So we have a couple of repeats, so we'll see what they're specifically for. And here you can see the details in the bottom of a couple of them. Oh, this looks like it has, this made for the Zect Miser because it has a hole in there, a slot. Here we see parts for his mouth guard, which is, to my knowledge, the only parts formation, I guess you could say. Here you see the backing of the clear blue jewel, and here's a clear blue, and you can see that it does have the compound texture, which is wonderful. Here we see a couple of cuffs for his mask form, arms, parts for his forearms, 2 halves of his shoulders for the mask form right here, front of the chest, back of the chest. Here you see the size of the head for the mask form, some tubing, which requires some detail, some backing for the hands, and a plate for the front of the masked form. Then we get to the clear red, which is, no, I'm sorry, not clear red, but like a shiny metallic red, I guess you could say. You kind of see the nice sheen. It has kind of a swirly plastic, swirl to it. Here we see the mask form red plate. Here we see the chest of the rider during his cast-off phase. Here we see parts. Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice these. These are the misers right here. Look at that, these are tiny. Here you see the parts of the chest, three parts for the 3 zectors, parts for the head, parts for the shoulders in mask form. Here you see his signature Kabuto horn, which makes him a rhinoceros beetle. Here you see parts for the shoulder armor, and here you see couples, very small red parts, and the 3 sectors, and I guess flying in this, and then etc. Here we have the Bee Runner, which is all black, Kamen Rider Kabuto, which to me it looks like it feels to have a generic runner though, so we'll see if there are any variations in the future. And as you can see, a part did break off. Here it is, and it's just a match to this one, which you can see is cut out through their molding process for a seamless design. But unfortunately they couldn't carry that all over. Here you see the parts for the shoulders or hips. Shoulders or hips. Here you see parts for the lower arms, the soles of the feet, which have a lot of nice detail, for the top of the legs, or the upper legs, the bottom of his legs. Here we see a couple of joints. These are the knee joints, each half of the feet, so there are going to be seam lines running down the middle of the feet and the knee joints, along with his waist and in his stomach area, I guess you could say. And here you see his neck and shoulders and hips. That's the Bee Runner. And to my knowledge, at least I don't see any kind of ejection process for those. The Sea Runner is also black, but this one is more Kamen Rider Kabuto. You see parts for the part for the chest to fill in that red, the red. You see the kunai gun, parts for the stand, which is geared, not ratcheted, but you have to take it off and slot it. You see parts for the chest, parts for the not chest, for the shoulders, parts for the shoulders also, and a really small black part here, and parts for the head of the of our main rider's helmet. D Runner, Kamen Rider Kabuto. Here you see the 3 zectors, then a nice blank space, which is odd. You see parts for the kunai gun, parts for the shoulders, Zect Miser, the axe, and the kunai. And then we have the ejection slots here, here, and here, which means they can take all of this off and use this for any other riders. And I'm hoping one of them is the bee, personally. But we'll see if that happens, depending on how popular this release is. But here in the more generic parts, we see parts for the belt, parts for the knees, the cuffs of the ankles and for the wrists, armors for the legs, and armors for the chest, for the arms all over, elbows, and here we see a full seamless belt practically, and we see that they use their molding process to put in the 2 slots for his various attachments. E-Runner is a clear yellow, kind of a distinct color, you could say. First we get the clear white on the silver corona, this one. You see this kind of a soft plastic, but here we see some really nice trapezoidal, I guess you could say, very hard lines. You see where you slot the foot in for the rider kick. We do get a base. This is the generic base for Gundam Seed, Destiny or Gundam Seed, BA1. Yeah, there's a 1 in there. You can barely make it out. But it is clear, completely clear. Here's my hand, which is going to be very nice, although, again, it is the generic stand. But they do give us an attachment, which is a plus. Then we get a black polycap runner, PCF-6, so this is for the Figurise line. And we see an ejection port or attachment here, and here. I think these are for the shoulders, and here for these small ball joints and parts. And here you see the neck piece and a couple ball joints, which is going to be very nice. Now the sticker sheet. Unfortunately, we couldn't get away from the sticker sheet being too big, but it should be considered that a lot of, at least this quadrant here, belongs to Dark Kabuto. Figurise-6, Kamen Kabuto, we see some small Zect symbols along with a big one right there. The Dark Kabuto pattern, you can see very like a printed circuit board. You see parts for the knife or the axe, the kunai and gun, silver for all the hands we get. So some clear red for the or metallic red for the soles. 3 horns for each of the sectors and various other parts. Finally, the manual. Here we see Figurise-6, Kamen Kabuto the series. Here you see the background and the front model kit. Masked Rider Kabuto, Figurise-6, Kamen Kabuto, 2014, Bandai. Here you see the information on there. I think I quoted this wrong because it's supposed to be this, then this. So, Masked Rider Kabuto. Here you see cast off, in his cast off form. You see a big hole right there. It's going to be unfortunate. I guess that's for the stand. His mask form, the 3 Zectors you get, the Zect Miser, the kunai gun, and convertible pieces, Dark Kabuto, and the color scheme, big nice Zect symbol. When you open it, we get some more detail, put on, cast off, and rider kick. Change Beetle up here with the Dark Kabuto, and we see that stand and effect part in action. Here we see the various uses of his weapons, the Zect Miser, and you see that the horn does go down. But, as we can see in this panel right here, you need to replace a certain part, which is unfortunate, but I guess it's a necessary evil. We have a tree or sprue breakdown. Here we see all the parts, how to build the chest, arms, feet, how to attach the parts, how to build the weapons and stickers, and that's about it. So this is quite an exciting release for me. As soon as I saw it, I was very excited, very thankful to Bandai for taking the plunge on these kits. I always wanted model kits that were on par, or almost on par with the Figurise kits. That's what I'd been waiting for, and that's why I was very excited for the Master Grade Figurise line, which I am building and trying to get. But with that, I think that's everything that's in the box. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. But otherwise, keep building, my friends.